Hi everybody, it's Laura Susan Johnson, and I am reviewing my very first asexual movie. I've never really reviewed an asexual project, whether it be a documentary or a fictional film. The movie is called The Olivia Experiment, and most of the websites I've seen with information about this film say that it was released in 2014, so I'm just going to put that. If you've never seen this film, I'm going to probably reveal spoilers. So if you want to see this film and you don't want major spoilers, go ahead and click off and just watch the movie first, and then come back and find out how I thought about it. It has this feel to it that's very reminiscent to me of 90s independent movies, very quirky, and yet at the same time I found it to be quite stereotypical in a lot of ways. Why do I say that? Because the sexualized people, or the allosexuals, as we call them now, ALLO, in other words, the people who are quote-unquote normal and have sex regularly, whether they're gay or hetero, whatever. They're all blonde, they're all beautiful, they all dress in revealing clothing, they all wear, jewelry, and our main character, Olivia, dresses like an old lady. And in the very beginning, she ponders the idea that she may be asexual because she's 27 years old and has never had sex and has never been interested in having sex, but she thinks she's abnormal. And it's kind of the way I felt throughout my 20s, and then throughout my 30s, throughout my teens, and then in 2011, just a couple of months before I turned 41, I finally researched asexuality. And frankly, I had researched it for a year, and then I finally said to myself, this fits me. I didn't just blow through a few articles and say, yeah, I'm asexual. I studied it, I researched it, and I think I came to a very informed conclusion that I am asexual. I am now 50 years old, and I still have never had sex. I've never even let a guy go to second base. I've kissed guys. I've had a couple of women hit on me. My aunt tricked me into going on a blind date with a woman once when I lived in Idaho, but I'm just not interested in anybody. Male, female, trans, anybody. Intersex, nobody. I'm not interested. So Olivia's story, up until a certain point, did seem to be interesting and genuine, but when she talks to she blows up at a couple of kids. She's lecturing. I don't know if she's a student trying to get a degree or get a certificate to become a professor at a college, or if she actually is a professor at a college. I'm not sure, but she teaches seminars about language and philosophy or something like that, and that's never really elaborated on. We want to know why she doesn't want to have sex. I mean, that's just the whole thing about this movie. And she dresses so frumpy. She has long, straight hair, and of course she wears glasses. Underneath that all, she's a very attractive woman, but she dresses to hide herself, and she's intentionally dowdy. You never see anything. Everything is above the neck that she dresses in. I kid you not. Even when she wears a sleeveless dress, she has a very modest neckline, and, you know, she goes to this asexual support group, and all these asexuals seem realistic to me. You know, there's attractive men there, there's attractive women there, and they dress pretty realistically. Just regular clothing. A couple of the women have their blouses, you know, V-necked, and they're, you know, they're not there to impress anybody. They're just there, and they dress normally. And this movie, it just seems like they shove it down your throat that Olivia, there's something dysfunctional within her, but we don't know if she's asexual. And the leader of this asexual support group kind of got on my nerves, because even though Olivia was really rambly and nervous, and I think she was just a nervous wreck, and I think this leader should have given her a second chance. You know, just let her come back one more time, and if she still doesn't seem to fit, I don't know, it's like the leader was more concerned about the comfort level of the established group members, and this Olivia was trying to seek out help and support, and she got booted out. The lady told her that sometimes people use asexuality to hide from another issue. Well, maybe that's true in Olivia's case, but why base it on one visit? So I was a little annoyed there. But I'm also annoyed that the three blonde people in the movie are so generic and so stereotyped. Along with Olivia, they're stereotyped. Olivia's friend Felicia asks Olivia if she'd like to have sex with Felicia's boyfriend. This is Felicia's good friend, and she wants to go to her mother's for a couple of days, or she wants Olivia to have sex, is what it is. She says, you should just get it over with and get your virginity out of your hair and out of your mind, and just do it with my boyfriend. And he's this stereotypical California surfer dude with blonde hair and seawater inside his brain, or let's just say he's a beach boy, and instead of a brain, he's got seawater sloshing around, surfboards floating up in there. You know, he's just a blonde male bimbo. And Felicia's given her boyfriend to Olivia because she wants Olivia to just get it over with. And I don't know why these people are so worried about Olivia's problems. I think Olivia should just go see a therapist and find out from them, or just continue to look through support groups. She has a gay roommate, and he's telling her, I don't think you're asexual. Only Olivia can answer that through a series of explorations that don't involve making a homemade porno. What do I mean by that? Well, Olivia hires this girl she knows, another blonde, pretty, bleach blonde this time, pretty girl who's a lesbian according to her, and her name is, I guess, CJ, and she's just this Madonna dressing, you know, black top, black boots, wears a funky hat, bleach blonde hair, like I said, really pretty. She hangs around with Olivia, who dresses like an old matronly school marm or teacher, and it's just annoying as hell the way whoever set up the characters doesn't really give you characters. It gives you caricatures. And it was only an 88-minute movie, but it was like a slog through this poor, beleaguered, silly girl who needs to understand that if even this hunky surfer dude with no brain matter inside his skull, even if he doesn't turn her on, she was flinching when he tried to put his arms around her. When the other professor that was congratulating her on winning some kind of prestigious award or some crap, she flinched away from his touch. Maybe she was molested, maybe she was raped, but you never find out anything really useful in these characters that would help you understand and draw conclusions. Instead of Olivia finding out anything or doing anything besides wasting a viewer's time, CJ, the lesbian, the so-called lesbian, decides she is bisexual and she ends up sleeping with this surfer dude, while Felicia, the other blonde chick, is out of town with Mama. I don't know if other asexuals really loved this film, because I've looked online for other asexual films, and the only ones I can really find are documentaries, like A inside the 2 apostrophes and then sexual. And that was made in 2011 or 2012, maybe as far back as 2010. I don't know, but I really need to get my book written, because I can understand why a lot of gay people are sick and tired of stories about gay bashing and hate crimes and stuff like that, because they want stories told that aren't always about the same thing over and over again. And I've got to get my book written. My book is about an asexual male who isn't interested in sex at all, and he's not unattractive. Olivia, the ending stymied me. I mean, Olivia seems to have an issue with her mother, who seems to be some kind of wacky ex-hippie type. And at the end, this really kind of not creepy, not unattractive, not even fat. Somebody called him a chubby loser or a chubby dork. He's not chubby. He's just kind of like, he's real shy. He's not unattractive either. He's not bad looking. He's just not, he should comb his hair a little bit maybe and dress a little nicer. I mean, he's just kind of frumpy. That's what I would call him, frumpy. He's like Olivia, and he finally, at the end of the movie, after Olivia doesn't seem to know any more or less about herself because of this failed experiment, he sort of finally professes that he's been crazy about her all this time, for months or however long he's been around the neighborhood. And I see no ring. I don't see any black rings around his finger, nor hers. I guess that would be too easy to deduce that maybe he's asexual too. I guess the director and the writers wanted the audience members to figure it out on their own. Does Olivia and, what was his name, Ray, do they like each other? Are they both asexual? Does Ray finally deflower her? Fucked if I know, because I just I didn't understand what was going on at the ending. It was so vague. And I ended up not liking the movie overall. I just thought, this is just more typical stuff. I've already seen these stories. I've already heard these stories. And just the wacky, who in the world would want to film themselves losing their virginity? It's not a public thing, it's a private moment. It was just so out there and so just plain dumb that just the hell with it. I just gave it, like, I would give it maybe 5 out of 10 stars at the very max. It had a lot of, quirky, cute stuff, but by the maybe 30-minute mark, I was just more and more annoyed. So, I watched a film from Netflix about a week or so back, and I think I'm going to review that next. It's called Christine, and it's not the Stephen King car movie. This is the story of a lot of people probably know this story now because it's been kind of resurrected. But it's called Christine. It's on Netflix if you want to see it. And I didn't realize it was from 2016, so it's a few years old, but it's about Christine Chubbuck, who shot herself to death live on air from a local station in Sarasota, Florida. And she was asexual / demisexual. And it's an incredible movie. Amazing. And I'm going to review that next. That's much better. That's a better portrayal of asexuality than this stuff, Olivia experiment. I mean, it was so intense. And I'm not going to try to review that right now. So, but yeah, I give Olivia experiment 5 out of 10 stars. It's just not that great. I hope the camera hasn't been going up my nose while I've been talking, because it's hard for me to hold it and look into the lens. Alright, thank you for watching.